should you buy the Bugatti Bolide or the Sadair Sphere in Midnight Chasers? I'm going to start off with giving a full breakdown of each of the cars, and I'm going to give you my recommendation and the mods for each car. And that will be towards the end. And we're going to start with the Bugatti Bolide. So the Bolide is arguably the best all-rounding car in the game. It has crazy acceleration, and it has a top speed of 328, while the Sphere only has a top speed of 250. And it also has very good handling. Like, it should not be that good with that high of a top speed. It's insane. Which is why it's very good for Grand Prix. Its lower speed handling, like 200 or 210 and below, is extremely good. But it does have the chance to go into a drift sometimes, so it can be hard to use occasionally. However, a skilled player will be just fine and will do extremely well with it. And its other main negative is that it's very big, which makes it not very good for a lot of traffic races. And it also locks up at higher speeds, like past 200, like I said. Which is why you also don't see it on RB Sprint, because the Sphere doesn't lock up nearly as much. They both lose handling, obviously, but the Bolide just loses a lot more. And it also does require track pass, so that's just another negative. But overall, this car is insane. But anyways, let's get into the Sphere now. Alright, so the Sadair Sphere is another amazing car. Really good acceleration, really good handling, and it's all very similar to the Bolide. However, the Sphere actually has better acceleration, the launch is extremely good, but the Bolide will catch up with time. The handling is also a little worse at lower speeds. However, at 200 plus, the Sphere is going to have better handling than the Bolide. Even when the Bolide is at those speeds, it has worse handling than the Sphere, which is why it's not as good for Rainbow Bridge Sprint as the Sphere. The Sphere doesn't lock up as much at higher speeds, which is why it's so good for that, like I said. It's also a smaller model, like this car is not as wide, so it's better for weaving in and out traffic, which is another reason why it's good for it. Or realistically, it just depends on what race you want a car for. But anyways, I recommend the Bolide currently. I think it's better overall currently. It has more use in more races, especially if you're more of a skilled player and you can use that drift and counter it or use it to your advantage or whatever. However, I think if you want a car for traffic and you don't want a wide car or a wider car, I think the Sphere is going to be a better option for you, especially if you want a car for Rainbow Bridge. It's very easy to use for Rainbow Bridge, but I do think the Bolide is better overall right now. And I don't know if they're going to end up nerfing it. I'm not quite sure about that. It also does look cooler, in my opinion. But here are the mods for both, and yeah, follow for more.